Hello, denizens of the internet. I'm Evelyn Silver, author of the upcoming book, The Bloodline Chronicles, Witch's Night, with the Wild Rose Press, writer of Bath Book Reviews, aka Books I Read in the Bath, and your disembodied voice attached to a cartoon for the evening. Full disclosure up front, I did receive a free copy in exchange for an honest review of this book. Since this isn't a book that's been out for a long time or one that's from a big publisher, this will be a spoiler-free review. Tonight's book is Choosing Charity by Sarah Zakavi Moore, and it is a story focused on mental health, self-discovery, and personal growth. Content warning for this book. It does deal with some very serious issues such as suicide, self-harm, pregnancy loss, sexual assault, pregnancy, and mention of drugs. I think that's everything, but I might have overlooked something. While it's a good book, if any of those issues are something you're sensitive about, this may not be the book for you. While this isn't my usual genre, falling under women's literature instead of paranormal romance, it's still got some romance and still queer as it features bisexual main characters, so I was more than happy to give it a go. I was also excited to read a book that's also from an author published with my publisher, the Wild Rose Press, even if it's with a different imprint and genre. I enjoyed the writing style of this book very much. There are a lot of little scenes heavily focusing on the dialogue exchange between characters, and I particularly like the ones of the main character, Anna, and her psychologist. It felt very grounded, very real. There were moments of excellent descriptive paragraphs that put me in the setting of, say, a hospital, and others that limited the descriptive narration and just focused on the dialogue, and both worked excellently. The dialogue is definitely the strongest part of the writing style, though. On that note, since this isn't a paranormal, fantasy, or sci-fi type romance, but rather a fiction set in the real world, I'll be skipping my usual analysis of world building since it doesn't really apply. The characters are this book's strength. They are all deeply flawed in different ways, and that's okay. This is a story of flawed people trying to figure out how to make the most of life when difficult curveballs keep getting thrown at them. They're difficult, they're numb, they're manic, they're desperate, they're codependent, and it's all done in a way I would consider respectful. Their various issues intertwine and struggle in ways that are very true to life. The plot of this book starts with a very intense hook of Anna saving a stranger named Kylie from a suicide attempt, then inviting Kylie to live with her as the stranger has nowhere else to go. Anna knows next to nothing about Kylie, though gradually learns bits and pieces, like she's got some severe mental health issues that she needs medication for. Something interesting for me is the theme of charity through the book as indicated by the title. Anna is charitable to a fault. Kylie's issues are far beyond something a new friend can fix, but Anna's the kind of person who wants to fix people. The talks with the psychologist shine a lot of light on this. There's also the issue of Anna's ex-boyfriend popping up after abandoning her, following some very painful hardships in their lives. Regarding the romance, it felt very relationship-heavy, but not necessarily romance-heavy. There's a bit of a love triangle, but I actually didn't hate it, as I usually hate love triangles. The resolution was satisfying for me, and one that fit the characters. The story didn't feel like it was meant to be about romance as much as it is about characters learning about themselves and falling into the relationships that work best for them. It felt very realistic in that approach, so I liked that. It was interesting to watch the self-discovery on Anna's part as she came to terms with the idea that she likes women. I feel like it's a very personal story and one a lot of bisexuals coming to terms with their identity can relate to. Regarding the health of the relationships, I'm not sure any of the people in this story are healthy enough to have healthy relationships. That's not a bad thing, mind you, that's the point of the plot. Broken people trying to find happiness, or at least contentment, and maybe put a little bit of duct tape on their issues so they can make things work. It makes for a compelling story and realistic characters. A good thing is that they're all aware of their issues, and I think that the calling out of unhealthy behaviors, for example, opening someone's phone and using it to contact their ex, or deciding without any conversation that someone is in a relationship, counts as the Twilight Pineapple of this book. For those of you unfamiliar with my other videos, a Twilight pineapple is described best as a literary device used to indicate that an unhealthy relationship behavior is not desirable in real life. Anna and Kylie both get professional help for their issues, which bleeds into their relationships, though I would have liked to see more help given to Henry, the ex-boyfriend, to indicate how he was working on his issues. Something like couples therapy would have been good to see. I would rate Choosing Charity the following: 5 out of 5 for the writing style. The descriptions were good, the dialogue was great, it's very grounded and real, and the author has an engaging voice. 5 out of 5 for the characters. I love that this book respectfully handled difficult subjects such as mental illness and how it affects a person as well as how it affects the people around them. The characters are all flawed, and that makes them real and compelling. 5 out of 5 for the plot. It was very character-driven, and since the characters are the story's strength, it makes for a good plot. 3 out of 5 for the romance. This simply wasn't a very romantic book. It was a relationship book, with focus on individual journeys. The romance wasn't bad, but I wouldn't go to this book if you're looking to swoon over attractive fictional characters. That's not what this book is about. That's not a bad thing, mind you, just a personal taste thing for me. 3 out of 5 for the health of the relationships. I have to take a few points off because the relationships aren't very healthy, and because the ex-boyfriend who shows up isn't shown to really be working on himself the way Anna and Kylie are, but have to give a few points because the unhealthy behaviors are addressed as unhealthy, and there is positive growth. Overall, I would rate this book a 4 out of 5. It is a fascinating read that delves into a lot of serious topics without being solely about those topics. There's trauma, there's mental health, there's sexuality, but the book isn't about any of these one issues. It's just a book about being human and dealing with these things as they organically happen in life, and that was very well done. And not as part of a grade, just a statement, this book has a 1 out of 5 heat level, meaning that it has a low fade to black sort of heat. You can find Choosing Charity for purchase as an ebook or physical copy in the links in the description of this video. Thanks for watching my Bath book review. Be sure to like and subscribe to catch all my future content. You can also check out short stories, blog posts, essays, and random poems on my official website, as well as information on my upcoming paranormal queer romance novels. If you have a recommendation for a book you think I should read in the bath, be sure to leave a comment or contact me on my social media. You can find my assorted social media links in the description of this video. Au revoir, and have a fantastic night.